Hey guys, I am here to help you today. This video to fall asleep. So before that, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, where are you from? And what time are you watching? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. Now get comfortable and relax. You are walking down a dirt path, the kind that crunches under your boots like it's whispering secrets with every step. The air smells of dry earth and something faintly sweet, like overripe fruit left to linger. It's late afternoon, and the sun hangs low, painting the sky in shades of burnt orange and bruised purple. You're heading toward a village nestled in a valley, a place so old it feels like it's been here since the earth decided to start keeping time. The houses ahead are squat, made of mud and stone, their roofs sagging like tired eyelids. Somewhere, a dog barks, then falls silent, as if it thought better of it. Your pack is heavy, tugging at your shoulders, but it's the kind of weight that grounds you, reminds you you're here, in this moment. You've heard about this place Galapa, they call it, though the name changes depending on who's telling the story. It's a village that doesn't show up on most maps, the kind of place you find only if you're looking for something else entirely, like a good Wi-Fi signal. It's elusive, but you've got a knack for stumbling into the weird corners of the world. The path slopes downward now, and you feel the air shift, cooler, heavier, like it's carrying the weight of 1,000 untold stories. You pass a crumbling stone marker, half covered in moss, its carvings worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. It's a boundary stone, marking the edge of Calapa's territory, and it's been here since the Chola dynasty ruled these parts, around the 9th century, when temples were built to last longer than empires. That's a fact. Those Cholas knew how to make stone sing, carving gods and demons into every surface they could find. But there's something else about this marker, something the guidebooks don't mention, a faint, deliberate scratch, a spiral, that seems to pulse under your fingertips when you brush against it. It's not in any history book, but the locals swear it's a warning, a sign to turn back unless you're ready to face what's waiting. The village comes into view now, a cluster of homes huddled around a single, ancient banyan tree. Its roots sprawl like the fingers of some giant, half-buried beast, and the air around it hums with a low, almost inaudible drone. We're not sure if it's the wind or something else, something older. A few villagers move about, their saris and dhotis catching the fading light, but they don't look at you. Not directly, their eyes slide past, quick and cautious, like they're sizing you up without committing to the act. You're a stranger here, and strangers don't just wander into Calapa. You're not sure if that makes you brave or just clueless, probably a bit of both. Knowing you find a small guest house at the village's edge, a low building with a tin roof that rattles softly in the breeze. The owner, an old woman with eyes like polished obsidian, hands you a key and mutters something about keeping your windows shut at night. The air moves funny here, she says, her voice dry as the dust on your boots. You smile, thinking she's joking, but her face doesn't crack. You're tempted to ask what she means, but your stomach growls, loud enough to make her raise an eyebrow. Food's in the back, she says, pointing to a curtained doorway. Don't expect a buffet. This isn't Mumbai, the dining area. A single wooden table, scratched and worn, surrounded by mismatched chairs. You sit, and a boy no older than 12 brings you a plate of rice and dal, steaming and fragrant with cumin. It's simple, but it hits like a hug from someone you haven't seen in years. As you eat, you notice the room's only other occupant, an old man, hunched over a cup of chai, his fingers knotted like the banyan roots outside. He's watching you now, not even pretending to be subtle. You nod, trying to be polite, but he just keeps staring, his eyes glinting like he knows something you don't. Maybe he does. Maybe you should have stayed in the city, where the only thing haunting you is bad traffic. You finish your meal, the flavors lingering on your tongue, and step outside to catch the last of the daylight. The village feels quieter now, as if it's holding its breath. You hear it again, that low hum, like a tuning fork struck deep underground. It's coming from the direction of the temple, a looming silhouette at the village's heart. You've heard the stories, of course, they're why you're here. The temple of Kalapa, older than the village itself, home to an idol that's not supposed to move, but does. Midnight, they say, when the moon is high and the world is asleep. It shifts, just a little. Just enough to make you question what you saw. You're not sure if you believe it. Historians still wonder if the idol's movements are a trick of the light, a clever mechanism built by ancient priests to scare or. No one's ever caught it on camera. Phones die too fast here. And you've already noticed your battery's at 20%, despite charging it this morning. But the stories persist, passed down like heirlooms, each one adding a new layer of mystery. You're not here to solve it, though. You're here to feel it. To let the weight of this place settle into your bones. You're a wanderer, after all, chasing the stories that make your skin prickle and your heart slow. The path to the temple is lined with small oil lamps, their flames flickering like they're nervous. Follow it, your boots scuffing against the dirt, and the hum grows louder, more distinct. It's not just sound now, it's a vibration, a pulse that seems to sync with your heartbeat. The temple's entrance is ahead, a stone archway carved with figures you can't quite make out in the dim light. Gods, maybe, or demons, or something in between. You pause, one hand on the arch, and feel that spiral again, etched into the stone. It's the same as the marker, but deeper, sharper, like it's been carved by something other than human hands. Step inside, and the air changes again, cooler, thicker, like you're wading through water. The temple smells of sandalwood and something metallic, like old coins. Your eyes adjust to the dark, and there it is, the idol. It's smaller than you expected, no taller than you, carved from black stone that seems to drink the light. Its face is featureless, worn smooth by time, but its eyes to deep hollows seem to watch you. You laugh, a little too loud, to break the tension. Nice place, you mutter. Bet the rent's cheap, but the words feel hollow, swallowed by the temple's silence. You circle the idol, your footsteps echoing softly. There's a crack in the floor, barely visible, running from the idol's base to the wall. You kneel, tracing it with your finger, and feel that hum again, stronger now, like it's coming from the stone itself. You're not scared, not exactly, but there's a weight in your chest, like you've walked into a conversation you weren't meant to hear. You stand, brushing the dust from your knees, and notice something odd, a faint smudge on the idol's arm, like it's been touched recently. By who, or what? You're not sure, you want to know, but your feet are already moving, carrying you closer. The village is asleep now, or close to it. You can hear the distant clatter of a cart, the soft bleat of a goat, but the temple is its own world, separate, ancient. You sit on the floor, your back against a pillar, and let the hum wash over you. It's soothing, in a strange way, like a lullaby sung by someone who's forgotten the words. You're tired, bone tired, the kind of tired that makes your eyelids heavy and your thoughts soft. Could sleep here, you think, but the old woman's warning echoes in your mind. Windows shut, air moves funny, you smirk, imagining her scolding you for napping in a haunted temple. Kids these days, she'd probably say no respect for curses. Pull your jacket tighter, the night air creeping in, and decide to stay a little longer. The idol's there, watching without watching, and you're not ready to leave it yet. There's something about it, something that pulls at you like a half-remembered dream. You're here for the story, after all, and stories don't end, they just pause, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. The temple's silence wraps around you like a heavy blanket, muffling the world outside. The hum from the idol persists, a low thrum that seems to vibrate in your chest, sensing with your breath. You're still sitting against the pillar, your jacket bunched up for a makeshift pillow, but sleep feels distant now. The air is cool, almost damp, carrying that faint metallic tang mixed with sandalwood. like the temple's been brewing its own strange perfume for centuries. You shift, your boots scraping softly against the stone floor, and your eyes drift back to the idol. It hasn't moved, not that you can tell, but those hollow eyes seem to follow you, like a painting in a cheap horror flick. You chuckle under your breath. What? You got a staring contest going? You mutter, half expecting an answer. The silence just smirks back. You stand, stretching your legs, and decide to explore the temple's edges. The walls are carved with intricate patterns, vines, serpents, figures with too many arms to be human. They're worn but precise, the work of artisans who believed their art could hold back the dark. You trace one of the carvings, a snake coiled around a lotus, and feel a faint warmth under your fingers, like the stone's alive. It's probably just your imagination, warmed by the doll you ate earlier, but it's enough to make you pause. You're not alone here. Not really. The village outside might be asleep, but Kalapa has a pulse, and it's beating in this temple. You wander toward the back of the chamber, where the light from the oil lamps barely reaches. The shadows are thicker here, pulling in corners like spilled ink. Your phone's flashlight is useless, battery's down to 15% now, and you're not sure if it's the temple or just your lousy charger. You rely on your eyes instead, letting them adjust to the dimness. There's a low alcove, half hidden behind a curtain of cobwebs. You brush them aside, sneezing as dust tickles your nose. Great, you grumble, haunted and allergen central, but curiosity pulls you forward, like it always does, and you crouch to peer inside. The alcove is small, barely big enough for you to crawl into, but it's not empty. There's a clay pot, cracked but intact, its surface etched with symbols that match the spiral on the boundary stone. You reach out, hesitating, then pull your hand back. You've seen enough movies to know touching mysterious artifacts in creepy temples is a bad idea. Instead, you lean closer, squinting. Inside the pot, there's a glint, something metallic, maybe a coin or a pendant. You're tempted to grab it, but that hum is louder now, almost insistent, like it's warning you to back off, or daring you to keep going. You're not sure which. You sit back on your heels, the stone floor cold through your jeans, and let your mind wander. The villagers' stories come back to you, fragmented and hushed, shared over chai and flickering lamps. They say the idol moves at midnight, not a full-on dance, mind you, but a shift, a tilt, like it's stretching after a long nap. They say it's been happening for centuries, since the Chola dynasty's height, when this temple was a bustling center of worship. That's the fact of it. Kalapa's temple was a major pilgrimage site in the 10th century, drawing devotees from across South India. The Cholas built it to honor a deity, Oman names anymore, a god so old even the priests forgot its face. But there's a quirkier detail, one the villagers whispered with half smiles. They say the idol only moves when someone's watching, like it's shy, or vain, or just messing with you. You glance at the idol again, its black stone gleaming faintly. In the lamplight, historians still wonder if the movement is real or just a story, a trick of flickering shadows or clever engineering. Some say the priests rigged it, like a medieval theme park ride, to keep the donations flowing. Others think it's something else, something older, tied to the land itself. You're not sure what you believe, but the hum in your chest feels real, and so does the weight of those hollow eyes. You stand, brushing dust from your hands, and decide to head outside for some air. The temple's starting to feel like it's closing in, like a friend who's overstayed their welcome. The night hits you like a splash of cold water, sharp and bracing. The village is quieter now, the last of the oil lamps guttering out. You lean against the temple's outer wall, the stone rough under your palms, and look up at the sky. It's clear, studded with stars that feel close enough to touch. The banyan tree looms nearby, its roots sprawling like they're trying to claim the whole village. You hear a rustle, faint but distinct, and your heart skips. Probably just a stray cat, you tell yourself, but you can't shake the feeling you're being watched. You scan the shadows, half expecting to see the old man from the guest house. But there's nothing, just the wind, stirring the leaves like it's got a secret to share. You walk a slow circle around the temple, keeping the wall at your side. The carvings continue out here, less worn than inside, depicting scenes you can't quite pass. A figure with a staff, a crowd kneeling, something that looks like a storm cloud with eyes. You pause at one, a carving of the idol itself, its arms raised like it's reaching for something. There's a crack running through it, not natural wear, but deliberate, like someone took a chisel to it long ago. You wonder who and why, but the hum is back, softer now, like it's coaxing you to keep moving. You do, your footsteps muffled by the dirt, and find yourself at a small gate, rusted but ajar. Beyond the gate is a courtyard, overgrown with weeds and dotted with broken statues. You step through, careful not to trip, and spot a stone bench under a tamarind tree. You sit, the bench cold against your thighs, and let the night settle around you. The hum is faint to hear, but it's still there, a reminder that the temple's reach extends beyond its walls. You think about the villagers again, their hushed voices and sideways glances. They don't talk about the idol much, not directly. It's like they're afraid to name it, like saying its name would wake it up. You smirk, imagining it as a grumpy deity, annoyed at being disturbed. "Let me sleep, mortal," it'd probably say, in a voice like gravel and thunder. Your eyes drift to the temple's silhouette, its spire cutting a jagged line against the stars. You're not sure how long you've been out here, minutes, maybe hours. Time feels slippery in Kalapa, like it's playing by different rules. You pull out your phone, more out of habit than hope, and see the battery's at 10%. Useless. You tuck it away and lean back, the tamarind leaves rustling above you. The air smells different now, less sweet, more earthy, like the grounds. Exhaling after a long day, you close your eyes, just for a moment, and the hum becomes a lullaby, soft and steady, pulling you deeper into the night. The stories come back, unbidden, like whispers from the dark. The idol moves, they say, but only for those who stay too long. Only for those who ask too many questions. You're not sure if you're one of those people, but you're here, aren't you? Sitting in a haunted courtyard, listening to a temple hum like it's got a heartbeat. You laugh softly, the sound swallowed by the night. "Yes, I'm in trouble." Then, you say to no one, and the wind answers with a low, teasing whistle. You're not scared, not yet, but you're starting to wonder what you've walked into, and what it'll take to walk out. The tamarind tree's leaves whisper above you, a soft rustle that feels like the night itself is gossiping. You're still on the stone bench, its chill seeping through your jeans, grounding you in this strange, half-forgotten courtyard. The temple looms behind you, its silhouette sharp against the starlit sky, and that hum persistent, low, like a distant engine pulses faintly in your chest. You're not sure if it's the temple or just your imagination, but it's there, steady, like a heartbeat you didn't sign up for. The air smells of earth and something sharper now, like crushed herbs or rolled iron, and it makes your nose twitch. You rub it, muttering, "If this place gives me allergies, I'm leaving a 1-star review." You stand, brushing crumbs of dirt from your hands, and decide to head back inside the temple. The courtyard's too exposed, too quiet, and you're not ready to be alone with the night just yet. The rusted gate creaks as you push through, its hinges groaning like they're personally offended by your presence. You smirk. Everything in Kalapa seems to have an attitude. The path back to the temple entrance is familiar now, the oil lamps mostly burned out, leaving only a faint glow to guide you. Your boots scuff the dirt, kicking up little clouds of dust that catch the starlight, and you feel that hum again, stronger as you near the stone archway dot inside. The temple is darker than before, the air thicker, like you're stepping into a room that's been holding its breath. The idol stands where you left it, unchanged. Its hollow eyes still watching, or not watching, or doing whatever creepy statues do when no one's looking. You pause, hands in your pockets, and tilt your head, "Miss me," you say, half joking, but your voice sounds small, swallowed by the vastness of the chamber. Carvings on the walls seem to shift in the dim light. Snakes, lotuses, figures with too many limbs moving just enough to make you second guess yourself. You're not superstitious, but you're starting to think this place could convince you otherwise. You move closer to the idol, drawn by that smudge you noticed earlier, the one on its arm that looked too fresh, too deliberate. The stone floor is uneven, and you step carefully, avoiding the crack that runs from the idol's base. You kneel, squinting at the smudge. It's not dirt, it's darker, almost oily, like someone rubbed charcoal into the stone. Your fingers hover, tempted to touch, but you pull back. Not falling for that one, you mutter, imagining some ancient booby trap springing to life. You've seen Indiana Jones. You know how this goes. Instead, you circle the idol again, slower this time, taking in its details. The black stone is polished to a sheen, but it's not reflective. It's like it absorbs the light, pulling it in and giving nothing back. The idol's form is vague, humanoid, but not quite. Its limbs too long, its proportions just off enough to unsettle. You notice something new, a faint groove around its neck, like a necklace was carved and then erased. It's subtle, but it's there, and it makes you wonder who took the time to hide it, and why. You're no archaeologist, but you've got a nose for stories, and this idol's got one hell of a tale to tell. You sit on the floor again, this time closer to the idol, your back against another pillar. The stone's cool, almost comforting, and you let your head rest against it. The hum is louder here, a steady vibration that feels like it's coming from the idol itself. You close your eyes, just for a moment, and the darkness behind your lids is alive with shaped spirals, like the ones on the boundary stone and the clay pot. You snap your eyes open, heart thudding. "Okay, that's enough of that," you say, forcing a laugh. The temple doesn't laugh back. You decide to explore more, to shake off the unease. The chamber stretches deeper than you realized, with alcoves and niches carved into the walls. You find another one, this one higher, reachable only by climbing a few broken steps. You're not exactly athletic, but curiosity's a great motivator, and you haul yourself up, grunting. This better be worth it. You huff, half expecting to find nothing but more cobwebs. Instead, there's a small shelf, carved directly into the stone, holding a bundle of dried leaves tied with twine. They're brittle, crumbling at your touch, and they smell like something you'd find in a witch's pantry. Bitter, sharp, with a hint of decay. You set the bundle down carefully, not sure if it's sacred or just forgotten trash. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their rituals, often involving offerings of flowers and herbs to appease their gods. That's the historical anchor. Temples like this were centers of ceremony, where priests chanted and burned incense to keep the divine happy. But there's a lesser-known detail, one the villagers mentioned in passing. They say the priests here used a specific herb, now extinct, that could make you see things, visions, spirits, truths. They called it night's breath, and they burned it only at midnight, when the idol was said to move. You glance at the bundle in your hand. Could be nothing, could be night's breath. You're not sure you want to find out. You climb down, careful not to drop the bundle, and tuck it into your jacket pocket. It feels heavier than it should, like it's carrying more than just dried leaves. The hum is still there, steady, almost soothing, and you wonder if it's the temple, or the bundle, or just your own pulse, amplified by the dark. You walk back to the idol, your footsteps echoing, and notice something new. The crack in the floor seems wider now, just a fraction, like the stone's been stretched. You kneel again, running your finger along it, and feel a faint warmth, like the carvings earlier. Historians still wonder if the temple's foundation is unstable, shifting over centuries, or if something else causes these cracks, something tied to the idol's supposed movements. You're starting to lean toward the something else, camp, but you're not ready to admit it. You stand, brushing your hands on your jeans, and decide to keep moving. The temple's got more secrets, and you're not done poking around. You find a narrow passage, half hidden behind a curtain of vines, and duck through, the leaves brushing your face like ghostly fingers. The passage is tight, the walls pressing in, and the air feels denser, like you're walking through a memory. There's a faint light at the end, not lamplight, but something cooler, like moonlight trapped in stone. You follow it, your breath shallow, and emerge into a smaller chamber. Its ceiling open to the sky. The stars are brighter here, almost too bright, and the idol's hum feels distant, muffled, like it's giving you a break. The chamber's floor is covered in mosaic tiles, faded but intricate, depicting a spiral that mirrors the one on the boundary stone. You step carefully, not wanting to disturb it, and notice a small altar at the center, empty except for a single, smooth pebble. It's ordinary, unremarkable, but it feels out of place, like it's been left for you to find. You pick it up, turning it over in your hand, and feel that hum again, sharp and sudden, like a jolt. You drop the pebble, cursing under your breath. "Okay, temple, you win," you say, half laughing, half annoyed. The hum fades, and the pebble rolls to a stop. Innocent as ever, you sit on the edge of the altar, the pebble at your feet, and let the night settle around you. The air's cooler here, fresher, but it still carries that metallic tang, like the temple's reminding you it's not done with you yet. You think about the villagers again, their stories of the idol, and its midnight dance. They say it's not malicious, not exactly, but it's not friendly either. It's just there, doing what it does, moving when it feels like it. You glance at the sky, the stars winking like they know something you don't. You're not sure how long you've got until midnight, but you're starting to think you'll find out whether you want to or not. The mosaic tiles beneath your feet, gleam faintly under the starlight, their spiral pattern pulling your gaze like a whirlpool. You're still in the smaller chamber, perched on the edge of the altar, the pebble you dropped lying innocently a few feet away. The air here is crisp, carrying a hint of damp earth, and that persistent metallic tang, like the temple's exhaling secrets. It's held since the Cholas walked these halls. A hum from the idol is softer now, a distant murmur, but it's still there, threading through your thoughts like a song quite shake. You rub your eyes, feeling the weight of the night, and mutter, "If I fall asleep here, I'm blaming you." Creepy statue. The stars twinkle. Unimpressed, you stand, stretching your arms, and glance at the open ceiling. The sky feels closer in this chamber, like you could reach up and pluck a star if you tried. Your phone's useless battery's down to 8% now, and you're not even surprised. Kalapa doesn't seem like the kind of place that plays nice with technology. You tuck the pebble into your pocket, next to the bundle of dried leaves, and decide to stay in this chamber a little longer. The main hall felt too heavy, too watchful, but this place is quieter, almost peaceful, like the temple's giving you a moment to breathe before it pulls you back in. You pace the chamber, your boots clicking softly against the tiles. The spiral mosaic seems to shift as you move, an optical trick that makes your head spin if you stare too long. You focus instead on the walls, which are smoother here, less ornate than the main chamber's carvings. But there are marks, faint scratches, deliberate, forming patterns that look like writing, but not any script you recognize. You trace one with your finger, expecting the same warmth you felt before, but it's cold, almost icy. You pull back, shaking your hand like you've touched a hot stove. "Okay, rude," you say, half laughing, but your pulse is quicker now, and you're not sure why. The altar catches your eye again. Its surface worn but clean, like someone's been tending it. You kneel, inspecting it closer, and notice a faint indentation, circular, about the size of the pebble in your pocket. You fish it out, turning it over in your hand. It's smooth, unremarkable, but it fits the indentation perfectly when you press it in. Nothing happens, no secret doors, no mystical glow, but the hum spikes, sharp and sudden, like a needle in your chest. You yank the pebble out, heart pounding, and the hum settles back to its usual drone. Yeah, no thanks, you mutter, shoving the pebble back in your pocket. You're not here to play hero, you just want the story. You sit again, this time on the floor, leaning against the altar. The tiles are cool, grounding, and you let your thoughts drift. The villagers' stories come back, their voices low and cautious, like they're afraid the idol might overhear. They say it moves at midnight, a fact tied to the Chola dynasty's rituals, when priests perform ceremonies under the full moon to honor their gods. That's the historical anchor. Lunar cycles were central to Chola worship, dictating everything, from temple rites to harvest festivals. But there's a quirkier detail, one the old man at the guest house mentioned with a sly grin. They say the idol only moves for someone who's alone. Not a crowd, not a priest, just one person, sitting in the dark, waiting, like it's testing you. Or maybe just showing off. You glance at the sky, trying to gauge the time. The stars are still bright, but the moon's higher now, a thin crescent that casts a silvery glow across the chamber. Midnight's close, you can feel it in the way the air's gone still, like the village is holding its breath. You're not sure if you want to be here when the clock strikes, but your feet aren't moving, and your curiosity's got you pinned. You pull the bundle of leaves from your pocket, turning it over in your hands. The smell is stronger now, bitter and sharp, like it's waking up. Wonder if it's the night's breath the villagers mentioned, the herb that makes you see things. You're tempted to crush a leaf, just to test it, but you hesitate. Last thing I need is a hallucination, you say, tucking the bundle away. I'm weird enough without help. You stand again, restless, and walk to the chamber's edge, where the wall meets the open ceiling. There's a ledge here, wide enough to sit on, and you climb up, dangling your legs over the side. The village is invisible from this angle, swallowed by the dark, but you can hear it, faint sounds of life, a distant dog barking, the creak of a cart's wheel. The temple feels separate, though, like it's floating outside time, a bubble of stone and secrets. You lean back, the wall cool against your spine, and let the hum wash over you. It's almost comforting now, like a cat purring in your lap. If that cat was ancient and possibly cursed. Your eyes drift to the mosaic again, and you notice something new. A single tile, slightly raised, near the spiral's center. You slide off the ledge, curiosity pulling you like a magnet, and kneel beside it. The tile's loose, wiggling under your touch, and you pry it up with your fingernails. Beneath it is a small hollow, holding a fragment of cloth, faded but soft, like silk left to age. You lift it carefully, and it unravels, revealing a faint pattern, spirals, again, woven in old thread. It's beautiful, but it feels heavy, like it's carrying more than just fabric. You fold it back up, tucking it into your pocket with the pebble and the leaves. Your jacket's turning into a museum of weird, and you're not sure if that's cool or concerning. The hum shifts, growing sharper, and you glance at the altar. The indentation is still there, empty, but it seems to glow faintly, or maybe that's just the moonlight. You're starting to wonder if the idol's watching you, if it knows you've been poking around its secrets. Historians still debate whether the idol's movements are mechanical or mystical, a trick of gears or something older, tied to the land's energy. Some say the Cholas built hidden mechanisms, like clockwork gods, to all their followers. Others think the temple's built on a fault line, its vibrations mistaken for divine will. We're not sure where you stand, but the hum feels alive, and so does the weight in your pocket. You stand, brushing dirt from your knees, and decide to head back to the main chamber. The passage is tighter than you remember, the vines brushing your face like they're trying to hold you back. You emerge into the main hall, the idol waiting, unchanged, but somehow heavier, like it's grown in presence. The hum is louder here, sensing with your heartbeat again, and you feel a pull, like the idol's daring you to stay. Midnight's coming, and you're not sure if you're ready, but you're not leaving either. You sit, cross-legged, a few feet from the idol, and let the dark settle around you. The air's thick, the hum steady, and you're alone, exactly the kind of person the idol likes to play with. The idol looms before you, its black stone swallowing the faint lamplight, those hollow eyes fixed on some point just beyond your shoulder. Cross-legged on the temple floor, the cold seeping through your jeans, and the hum is a steady pulse now, like a metronome keeping time with your breath. The air feels dense, heavy with sandalwood, and that metallic tang, sharper now, like a knife's edge hidden in the scent. Your jacket pockets are stuffed pebble, leaves, that scrap of spiral-woven cloth, and they weigh on you, not just physically, but like they're tugging at something deeper. You shift, trying to get comfortable, and mutter, "If you're gonna move, statue, now's the time." "I'm not getting any younger," the silence answers with a smirk you can't see but feel. You lean back on your hands, the stone rough under your palms, and let your eyes wander the chamber. Carvings on the walls seem to flicker in the dim light. Snakes, lotuses, figures that might be dancing or fighting. It's hard to tell. They're hypnotic, pulling you in, and you catch yourself staring too long, your vision blurring at edges. You blink, shaking your head. "Okay, no spiraling into a trance," you say, half laughing. "I'm not here for a vision quest, but the temple's got other ideas," and the hum spikes, a quick jolt that makes your heart skip. You sit up straighter, glancing at the idol. It hasn't moved, or has it? The angle of its arm seems different, tilted just a fraction. You squint, unsure if it's a trick of the light or your own tired eyes. You stand, needing to move, and pace a slow circle around the idol. The crack in the floor catches your eye again, wider now, or so it seems, snaking from the idol's base toward the wall like a river carving its path. You kneel, tracing it with your finger, and feel that faint warmth again, like the stone's alive. It's unsettling, but you're too curious to stop. You follow the crack, crawling on your hands and knees, until you reach the wall, where it disappears into a carving of a figure holding a staff. The figure's eyes are inlaid with some dark stone, glinting like they're watching you. You sit back, wiping sweat from your brow despite the cool air. "Creepy much?" You mutter, but you're starting to think creepy is just clappers. Fault setting. Your mind drifts to the villagers' stories, the ones they whispered over flickering lamps. They say the idol's movements are tied to visions, glimpses of something ancient, something not entirely human. The Cholas, who built this temple, were masters of astronomy, aligning their structures with the stars to mark sacred times. That's the historical fact. Their temples, like this one, were built with precise calculations, some even functioning as solar calendars. But there's a lesser-known detail, one the old woman at the guest house mentioned, with a raised eyebrow. They say the idol's visions come only to those who carry its tokens. Tokens like the pebble, the leaves, the cloth in your pocket. You pat your jacket, feeling their weight, and wonder if you've accidentally signed up for something you don't understand. You pull out the cloth, unfolding it carefully. The gold-threaded spirals catch the lamplight, shimmering like they're alive. You hold it closer, and the hum grows sharper, almost painful, like a tuning fork struck too hard. You fold the cloth quickly, stuffing it back in your pocket, and the hum softens, but not entirely. Your heart's racing now, and you're not sure if it's fear or excitement, or just the temple messing with you. You glance at the idol, its hollow eyes unchanged, but you swear its head is tilted now, just a hair. You laugh, nervous, and say, "Okay, you win. I'm spooked." Happy. The temple doesn't answer, but the air feels heavier, like it's pressing down on your shoulders. You decide to move again, to shake off the unease. The chamber's walls are lined with more alcoves, some empty, some holding offerings, wilted flowers, bits of charcoal, a small copper bowl crusted with something dark. Pause at one alcove, higher than the others, and climb a few steps to reach it. Your legs protest, still sore from earlier, but you make it, grumbling. This better not be another creepy herb stash. Inside, there's a tiny figurine, a miniature of the idol, no bigger than your hand. It's carved from the same black stone, but its details are sharper, its face almost human. You pick it up, turning it over, and feel a chill, like you've grabbed something you shouldn't. The hum spikes again, and you nearly drop the figurine, catching it at the last second. Okay, I get it, you say, setting it back carefully. No stealing. You climb down, your hands shaking slightly, and sit near the idol again. The figurine's face sticks in your mind, to clear, to knowing. You wonder if it's part of the visions the villagers talked about, a glimpse of something older than the temple itself. Historians still wonder if the idol's movements are tied to the Chola's rituals or something older, a pre-Hindu cult that worshipped forces no one names anymore. The villagers say the visions show truths past, present, maybe future, but they're not always kind. I'm not sure you want a truth like that, but your pockets are full of tokens, and the hum's telling you you're in too deep to back out now. You lean against the pillar again, the stone cool against your back, and check the time. Your phone's dead now, screen black as the idol's stone, so you guess at the hour. The moon's high, its light spilling through the chamber's cracks, and midnight feels close, like a door about to open. Pull the pebble from your pocket, rolling it between your fingers. It's warm now, or maybe that's just your hand, but it feels like it's humming too, a tiny echo of the idol's pulse. You set it on the floor, watching it catch the moonlight, and wonder what you're waiting for. The idol's still, but the air's alive, buzzing with something you can't name. You're alone, just like the story said, and the temple's watching, waiting for you to make the next move. The pebble sits on the floor before you, catching the moonlight like a tiny, defiant star. You're still cross-legged near the idol, its black stone looming in the dim temple, those hollow eyes fixed on some unseen horizon. The hum is a constant now, a low thrum that's settled into your bones, sensing with your breath like an old friend who's overstayed their welcome. The air's thick with sandalwood, and that metallic tang, sharper than before, like the temple sharpening its claws. Your jacket pockets are heavy leaves, cloth, and now the weight of that tiny figurine's memory. Its almost human face, burned into your mind. You lean forward, elbows on your knees, and mutter, if you're planning a jump scare, statue, I'm not in the mood. The silence just smirks. As usual, you glance at the pebble again. Its smooth surface glinting. Feels like it's watching you, which is ridiculous, but Kalapa's starting to make ridiculous feel plausible. You pick it up, rolling it between your fingers, and notice it's warmer now, almost pulsing, like it's got a heartbeat of its own. You set it down quickly, wiping your hand on your jeans. Okay, that's new, you say, half laughing, but your pulse is racing, and the hum's sharper, like it's agreeing with you. The idol hasn't moved at least. You don't think it has, but the crack in the floor seems to have grown, a jagged line stretching further toward the wall. I'm not imagining it this time. Or maybe you are. You're not sure anymore. You stand, needing to move, and walk toward the back of the chamber, where the shadows are thickest. The carvings on the walls seem to shift as you pass, their snakes and lotuses twisting in the flickering lamplight. You pause at one, a figure, with a staff and eyes that glint like the figurines, and feel a chill, like the temple's warning you to stop snooping. Too late for that, you mutter, tracing the figure's outline. The stone's warm, almost alive, and you pull back, shaking your head. This place needs a chill pill, you say, trying to laugh it off, but your voice sounds small, swallowed by the temple's vastness. You find another alcove, this one low to the ground, half hidden by a pile of broken pottery. You crouch, brushing the shards aside, and find a small wooden box, its surface carved with spirals that match the cloth in your pocket. It's heavy, heavier than it should be, and you hesitate before opening it. The lid creaks, revealing a handful of ash, black and fine, with a faint shimmer, like it's mixed with something metallic. You dip your fingers in, and the hum spikes, sharp and sudden, making your head spin. You pull back, the ash clinging to your fingertips, and wipe it off quickly. Nope, not playing with haunted dust, you say, but you're starting to wonder if everything in this temple is haunted, including you. You set the box down and step back, your heart thudding. The villagers' stories are circling in your mind now, their voices low and urgent. They say the idol's movements come with warnings, whispers from the past that only the brave or foolish hear. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their priestly orders, secretive groups who guarded sacred relics with their lives. That's the historical fact. Those priests were the backbone of Chola temples, performing rituals that kept the divine and mortal worlds in balance. But there's a quirkier detail, one the old man at the guest house shared with a knowing nod. They say the priests left warnings, hidden in the temple's alcoves, for those who got too close to the idol's truth. Warnings like ash, or pebbles, or cloth with golden spirals. You glance at the idol. Its hollow eyes unchanged, but you swear its arm is tilted differently now, just a fraction, like it's reaching for something. You blink, and it's still again, but the hum's louder, almost insistent, like it's urging you to pay attention. You pull the cloth from your pocket, unfolding it under the lamplight. The spirals seem to glow, or maybe that's just your tired eyes, but they pull at you, like they're trying to tell you something. You fold it back up, tucking it away, and decide to keep moving. Sitting still feels like inviting trouble, and you've got enough of that already. You head toward a corner of the chamber, where the wall curves into a narrow staircase, half hidden by shadows. The steps are worn, slick with moss, and you climb. Carefully, your hand on the wall for balance. The stone's cold, but it hums under your touch, like it's alive. You reach a small platform, barely big enough to stand on, and find a carved panel, its surface etched with a scene, a figure kneeling before the idol, surrounded by flames. The flames are stylized, almost dancing, and you wonder if they're meant to be real or symbolic. Hum's softer here, but it's still there, a reminder that the temple's watching. You sit on the platform, your legs dangling over the edge, and let your thoughts drift. The ash, the cloth, the pebble, they're all connected. You're sure of it, but the puzzle's missing pieces. You think about the priest's warnings, the ones the villagers hinted at. They say the idol doesn't just move, it speaks, in a way, through visions, or dreams, or whispers in the dark. You're not sure you believe it, but your pockets are full of its tokens, and the hum's starting to feel like a conversation. Historians still wonder if the idol's power is psychological, a mix of suggestion and fear, or something older, tied to rituals the Cholas barely understood themselves. You're leaning toward the latter, but you're not ready to admit it out loud. The moonlight shifts, spilling through a crack in the ceiling, and you realize midnight's close. The air's heavier now, like it's holding its breath, and the hum's a steady pulse, almost soothing, like a lullaby you don't trust. You climb down, careful not to slip, and head back to the idol. It's still, but the crack in the floor is wider, the shadows darker, and you feel the weight of those hollow eyes. You sit again, cross-legged, the pebbles still warm in your pocket. The hum's a low drone, and you're alone, waiting, as the temple holds its breath. Midnight's coming, and you're not sure if you're ready for what's next, but you're here, and the story's pulling you deeper. The temple's air feels like it's thickened, clinging to your skin as you sit near the idol, its black stone swallowing the last flickers of lamplight. The hum is a steady pulse now, weaving through your thoughts like a thread you can't cut loose. The crack in the floor stretches wider, a jagged scar running from the idol's base, and you swear it's grown since you last looked, though your eyes are starting to play tricks. Your pockets are heavy pebble, leaves, cloth, and the lingering memory of that ash you touched hand. They feel like anchors, tying you to this place. You shift, the cold stone biting through your jeans, and mutter, "If you're gonna do something, statue, don't keep me waiting. I'm not getting paid by the hour." The silence smirks back. As always, you lean forward, elbows on your knees, and stare at the idol. Its hollow eyes haven't moved, but there's a weight to them, like they're holding a secret there, not ready to share. The moonlight spills through a crack in the ceiling, painting the idol's surface in silver, and you notice something new, a faint shimmer, like a veil of dust caught in the light, hovering around its shoulders. You blink, and it's gone, but your heart's thudding now, and the hum sharper, like it's nudging you to pay attention. You're not scared, not exactly, but you're starting to feel like you're in a game when no one's explained the rules. You stand, needing to move, and walk toward the wall where the crack disappears. The carvings here are denser, a tangle of figures and symbols that seem to writhe in the shadows. One catches your eye, a figure with a staff, kneeling before the idol, surrounded by spirals. It's the same spiral you've seen everywhere on the boundary stone, the cloth, the mosaic. You trace it with your finger, and the stone's warm, almost pulsing, like it's alive. Pull back, shaking your hand. Okay, temple, you're showing off now, you say, trying to laugh, but your voice is thin, swallowed by the chamber's vastness. You turn back to the idol, and that's when you see it a flicker, quick as a heartbeat, in the corner of your vision. A shadow, moving where no shadow should be, slipping across the floor like spilled ink. Freeze, your breath catching, and scan the chamber. Nothing, just the carvings, the idol, the crack. You rub your eyes, muttering, great, now I'm seeing things, perfect, but the hum's louder, almost urgent, and you can't shake the feeling that something's here with you, just out of sight. You're alone, or so you thought, but Kalapa's starting to feel like it's got more residents than the village lets on. You decide to follow the shadow's path, or what you think was its path, toward the far end of the chamber. The floor slopes slightly, and you notice a faint trail of dust, disturbed, like someone or something passed through recently. You kneel, touching it, and feel that warmth again, faint but unmistakable. Dust is fine, almost like the ash from the wooden box, and it clings to your fingers, shimmering faintly in the moonlight. You wipe it off, but it leaves a tingling sensation, like static. You're starting to think everything in this temple is a little too alive for comfort. The trail leads to a low archway, half hidden by a curtain of vines. Push through, the leaves brushing your face like ghostly fingers, and step into a narrow corridor. The air's cooler here, but the hum follows, a steady drone that feels like it's guiding you. The walls are bare, no carvings, just smooth stone that gleams faintly, like it's been polished by centuries of hands. You walk slowly, your boots echoing, and notice a faint glow at the corridor's end. Not moonlight, but something softer, like a candle's flicker. You pause, heart thudding, and mutter, if this is a trap, I'm leaving a strongly worded letter. Curiosity's got you hooked, and you keep going. The corridor opens into a small, circular room, its ceiling low and domed, like the inside of a bell. At its center is a stone pedestal, empty except for a single, shallow bowl carved into its surface. The glow comes from the bowl, faint but steady, like it's holding light itself. You step closer, and the hum spikes, making your head spin. You steady yourself, gripping the pedestal, and peer into the bowl. It's empty, but the stone inside is stained, a deep, rusty red that looks too much like blood for your liking. You pull back, heart racing, and say, okay. That's a hard pass. The hum softens, almost mocking, like the temple's laughing at your nerves. You sit on the floor, back against the pedestal, and try to piece things together. The villagers' stories come back, their voices hushed and wary. They say the idol's movements are tied to a pact, a promise made long ago by priests who served a god no one names anymore. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their elaborate rituals, often involving offerings to seal divine contracts. That's the historical fact. Temples like this were centers of covenant, where priests bound their communities to the gods through sacrifice. But there's a quirkier detail, one the boy who served your doll whispered with wide eyes. they say. Priests left a guardian, a spectral figure that watches the temple, guiding those who carry the idol's tokens. Like the shadow you saw, or thought you saw, you pull the cloth from your pocket. Its golden spirals catching the faint glow. It feels heavier now, like it's soaking up the temple's secrets. You wonder if it's part of the pact, a token meant to guide or warn. Historians still wonder if the idol's guardian is a myth, a story to keep thieves away, or something real, tied to the rituals that made this temple hum. You're not sure what you believe, but that shadow felt real, and so, as the hum, pulsing like a heartbeat in the stone, you tuck the cloth away and stand, the bowl's glow fading as you move. You head back through the corridor, the vines brushing your shoulders, and emerge into the main chamber. The idol's there, unchanged, but the air feels different, charged. Like a storm's brewing, the crack in the floor is wider, and you swear the idol's head is tilted now, just a fraction, toward the corridor you just left. You laugh, nervous, and say, "Following me? Huh. Real subtle. Midnight's close, you can feel it in the way the moonlight shifted, sharper, colder. You're alone, with your tokens and your questions, and the temple's waiting, daring you to see what comes next." The idol stands silent, its black stone drinking in the moonlight that spills through the temple's cracks. Back in the main chamber, the hum a low, steady pulse in your chest, like a bassline you can't shake. The air's heavy, thick with sandalwood, and that metallic tang, now edged with something new, something earthy, like wet soil after rain. Your pockets are stuffed with tokens, pebble, leaves, cloth, and they feel heavier, like they're tying you to this place, to the idol's hollow gaze. The crack in the floor stretches wider, a jagged vein running from the idol's base, and you're almost certain it's grown since you left for the corridor. You pause, hands on your hips, and mutter, "If you're rearranging the furniture, statue, at least give me a heads up." The silence smirks, as it always does. You step closer to the idol, drawn by that faint shimmer you saw earlier, the one that vanished when you blinked. It's back now, a ghostly veil of dust or light hovering around the idol's shoulders, like it's wearing the moonlight. You squint, trying to make sense of it, but it's gone again, leaving you doubting your own eyes. The hum spikes, sharp and sudden, and you feel a tug, not physical but deep, like the temple's pulling at your thoughts. You laugh, nervous, and say, "Okay, I get it. You're spooky, point made." But your heart's racing, and you're starting to wonder if midnight's closer than you thought. You sit again, cross-legged, a few feet from the idol, the cold stone grounding you. The carvings on the walls seem to flicker, they're snakes and lotuses twisting in the dim light, and you catch a glimpse of that figure with the staff, its eyes glinting like they're alive. You've seen it before, in the corridor, on the mosaic, and it's starting to feel like it's following you. You pull the cloth from your pocket, its golden spirals shimmering faintly, and trace them with your finger. They're warm, almost pulsing, and the hum responds, softening, like it's pleased. You fold the cloth away, muttering, "No offense, but you're giving me serious clingy vibe." The temple doesn't answer, but the air feels heavier, like it's leaning in to listen. You decide to explore again, to shake off the unease. The chamber's edges are lined with more alcoves, some empty, some holding relics, crumbling flowers, a broken clay lamp, a shard of bone that you hope is animal. You pause at one, tucked low near the floor, and find a small bronze key, its surface tarnished but etched with a spiral. It's heavy, like everything in this temple, and you turn it over in your hand, feeling the hum shift, almost eager. Pocket it, adding to your collection, and say, "If this opens a cursed treasure chest, I'm out." But you're not out, not yet. The temple's got you hooked, and you're too curious to walk away. You follow the crack in the floor. Again, its path leading to a section of the wall you haven't noticed before. Carvings here are different, less ornate, more urgent figures running, hands raised, as if fleeing something. You trace one, a figure clutching a bowl like the one in the circular room. And feel that warmth again, faint but unmistakable. A hum's louder now, almost a voice, and you swear you hear a whisper, soft and fleeting, like a word you can't quite catch. You freeze, heart thudding, and scan the chamber. Nothing, just the idol, the carvings, the crack. Okay, temple, you say, voice shaky. That's not funny. But the whisper comes again, clearer now. Stay. You spin around, expecting to see someone, but you're alone. Or so you think. The villagers' stories flood back, their voices low and wary, shared over flickering lamps and steaming chai. They say the idol's pact requires a witness, someone to carry its tokens and face its truth. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their sacred chambers, hidden rooms where priests seal their vows with the divine. That's the historical fact. Temples, like this, often had secret spaces, built to protect relics or rituals from outsiders. But there's a quirkier detail, one the old woman at the guest house whispered with a sly smile. They say the chambers were locked, accessible only by keys, like the one in your pocket, and only those chosen by the idol could find them. Chosen. Or cursed, you're not sure which. You pull the key out, turning it over in your hand. It's warm, like the pebble, and the hum seems to pulse in time with it. You glance at the idol, its hollow eyes unchanged, but you swear its head is tilted now, just a fraction, toward the wall where the crack ends. You follow its gaze, or what you think is its gaze, and notice a faint seam in the stone, barely visible, like a door waiting to be opened. You step closer, heart pounding, and run your fingers along the seam. It's smooth, too perfect to be natural, and you feel a click, faint but real. When you press the key against it, the hum spikes, and the seam widens, just enough to reveal a sliver of darkness beyond. You hesitate, the key heavy in your hand. This is a trap. I'm filing a complaint, you say, trying to keep your voice light, but your hands are shaking. The whisper comes again, stay. And you're not sure if it's the temple or your own mind playing tricks. Historians still wonder if the idol's chambers were built for worship or something darker, a place to trap or test those who got too close. Some say the Cholas used hidden rooms to hide their most sacred relics. Others think they were prisons for spirits, or worse. I'm not sure what you believe, but the key feels like a challenge, and the hum's urging you forward. You slide the key into the seam, where a faint notch seems to fit it perfectly. The stone grinds, a low, reluctant groan, and the seam widens into a narrow doorway, just big enough for you to slip through. The air beyond is cold, heavy with the smell of damp stone, and something sweeter, like rotting flowers. You step inside, the hum following, and the doorway closes behind you. With a soft thud, you're in darkness now, the key still in your hand, and the hum's a steady pulse, guiding you deeper. Midnight's close, and you're alone in a chamber that feels like it's been waiting for you all along. The darkness in the hidden chamber wraps around you like a heavy cloak, cold and thick, muffling the hum that's followed you since you stepped into the temple. The bronze key is still in your hand, warm against your palm, and you grip it tightly, as if it might anchor you in this pitch-black void. The air smells of damp stone, and that sweet, rotting flower scent, now laced with something bitter, like burnt herbs. Your pockets stuffed with the pebble, leaves, and spiral-woven cloth feel heavier, like they're pulling you deeper into the temple's secrets. You take a cautious step, your boots scuffing against the uneven floor, and mutter, "If this is where I get eaten by a ghost, I'm leaving a bad Yelp review." Silence doesn't laugh, but it feels like it's listening. You hold the key out, as if it might light the way, but it's useless. No glow, no magic, just cold metal. Your eyes adjust slowly, picking out faint shapes in the dark, rough walls, a low ceiling, and a floor that slopes downward, like you're descending into the earth itself. The hum's still there, softer now, a whisper of a pulse, but it's enough to guide you forward. You move slowly, one hand trailing along the wall, its surface slick with moss or something worse. The whisper from before stay lingers in your mind, and you're not sure if it was real or just the temple playing tricks. Either way, you're in too deep to turn back now. The corridor narrows, forcing you to duck, and the air grows colder, heavier, like you're walking through a memory. You feel a faint breeze, impossible in this sealed chamber, and it carries that bitter herb scent, sharp enough to make your eyes water. You pause, wiping your face, and mutter, "Great, now I'm crying in a haunted basement." Living the dream, but the breeze is real, and it's coming from ahead, where the darkness seems to thin, revealing a faint, greenish glow. You follow it, heart thudding, and emerge into a small, circular chamber, its walls carved with spirals that pulse in the strange light. The glow comes from the center, where a shallow basin sits, filled with a liquid that shimmers like liquid jade. You step closer, the hum spiking, and peer into the basin. It's not water, it's too thick, too luminous, and it moves like it's alive, rippling without a breeze. You're tempted to touch it, but your hand hesitates, remembering the ash and its tingling burn. "Not falling for that one again," you say, stepping back. The hum softens, almost disappointed, and you feel a tug, like the chamber's urging you to stay. You glance at the walls, their spirals seeming to twist, and notice one carving different from the rest, a figure, cloaked, holding a key like the one in your hand. You pull the key out, comparing it to the carving. It's a match, down to the spiral etched on its surface. The hum pulses, sharper now, and you feel a chill, like the figure's watching you. You turn back to the basin, and the liquid surface shifts, forming shaped spirals, faces, as staff before. It's moving out again, your heart's racing, and you're starting to think the temple's not just alive, but awake, and it's got plans for you. You laugh, nervous, and say, "Okay, creepy Paul, you're not my type. Let's keep this professional." But the hum's insistent, and the chamber feels smaller, like it's closing in. The villagers' stories come back, their voices hushed over flickering lamps. They say the idol's pact was sealed in a hidden chamber, a place where priests made offerings to bind their god to the earth. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their underground sanctuaries, built to house relics too sacred or dangerous for the world above. That's the historical fact. Their temples often had hidden rooms, sealed with keys and guarded by rituals. But there's a quirkier detail, one the boy who served your doll whispered with wide eyes. They say the chambers held mirrors, not of glass, but of liquid, showing truths to those who dared look. Truths about the idol, the pact, or maybe themselves. You glance at the basin again. Its surface still now, but you're not ready to look too closely. You've seen enough horror movies to know staring into mysterious liquids is a bad idea. Instead, you focus on the walls, searching for more clues. Spirals are everywhere, carved deep, and you notice a faint seam, like the one that led you here. You press the key against it, and the stone grinds, revealing a narrow shelf. On it sits a small vial, stoppered with wax, filled with a dark powder that glints like the ash you found earlier. You pick it up, careful not to spill it, and feel the hum spike again, making your head spin. Set it down, muttering, "Okay, no more collecting cursed souvenirs. I'm not a museum." You step back, the vial still on the shelf, and sit on the floor, back against the wall. The hum's a steady drone now, almost soothing, but it's got an edge, like it's waiting for something. You pull the cloth from your pocket, its golden spirals catching the basin's glow, and wonder if it's part of the mirror's truth, whatever that means. Historians still wonder if the Chola's hidden chambers were for worship or containment, a place to honor their gods, or trap something older, something they feared. Some say the liquid mirrors were tools for divination. Others think they were traps meant to bind the curious. You're not sure which side you're on, but the basin's glow feels like a challenge, and the hum's telling you time's running out. You stand, tucking the cloth away, and glance at the basin one last time. The liquid's moving again, slow ripples forming a face not yours, but someone else's, with eyes like the idol's, hollow and deep. You blink, and it's gone, but your heart's pounding, and the hum's louder, like a drum roll for midnight. You head back to the corridor, the key warm in your hand, and feel the breeze again, colder now, pushing you forward. The chambers. Secrets are piling up, and you're not sure if you're finding answers or just more questions, but the temple's not letting you go. The corridor's darkness presses against you as you step out of the hidden chamber, the bronze key still warm. In your hand, its spiral etching digging into your palm. The hum follows, a low from that feels like it's woven into your heartbeat. Steady but insistent, like a friend who won't stop nudging you to move faster. The air is colder now, heavy with that rotting flower sweetness and the sharp, bitter edge, like the burnt herbs from the basin's glow. Your pockets are a jumble of relics, pebble, leaves, cloth, and the memory of that dark powder you left behind, and they weigh you down, like the temples claiming you piece by piece. You pause, leaning against the slick stone wall, and mutter, "If I'm sleepwalking through a ghost story, someone owes me royalties." The silence, as always, just smirks. You move forward, the corridor sloping upward now, the faint greenish glow from the chamber fading behind you. Your boots echo, a soft tap-tap that feels too loud in this narrow space, and you keep one hand on the wall, its mossy surface cool and damp. The hum shifts, softer but sharper, like it's guiding you back to the main chamber. You're not sure how long you've been down here, time's slippery in Kalapa, like trying to hold water in your hands, but the moon's light is stronger now, spilling through cracks in the ceiling, and you know midnight's close. The thought makes your heart skip, and you laugh, nervous. Great, I'm on a date with a haunted statue. Worst Tinder match ever. The corridor opens into the main chamber, and the idol's there, waiting, its black stone gleaming under the moonlight. Those hollow eyes seem to track you, or maybe that's just your nerves talking. The crack in the floor is wider, snaking further toward the wall, and you swear the idol's arm is tilted differently now, just a fraction, like it's reaching for you. You blink, and it's still, but the hum's louder, a pulse that makes your teeth buzz. You step closer, drawn despite yourself, and notice that shimmer again, a veil of light or dust hovering around the idol's shoulders, flickering like a bad signal. You rub your eyes, muttering, "Okay, I need sleep or coffee, not ghost glitter." You sit, cross-legged, a few feet from the idol, the cold stone grounding you. The air's thick, heavy with sandalwood, and that metallic tang, now mixed with the bitter herb scents clinging to your clothes. You pull the cloth from your pocket, its golden spirals catching the moonlight, and trace them with your finger. They're warm, almost alive, and the hum responds, softening, like it's pleased you're paying attention. You fold it away, thinking about the basin's liquid, its rippling face that wasn't yours. The villagers' stories come back, their voices low and urgent, shared over flickering lamps. They say the idol's pact requires a price, something given, something taken, and only those with its tokens see the truth. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their intricate rituals, often involving offerings of blood or ash to seal their vows. That's the historical fact. Their priests used symbolic sacrifices, sometimes animal, sometimes symbolic, to bind their communities to the divine. But there's a quirkier detail, one the old man at the guest house whispered. With a sly grin, they say the priests left traps, not just warnings, for those who carried the idol's tokens too long. Traps like visions, or whispers, or dreams that don't let go. You pat your pockets, feeling the weight of the pebble and leaves, and wonder if you're already caught. The key's still in your hand, warm and heavy, and you're starting to think it's more than just a key. You stand, restless, and walk toward the wall where the crack ends. The carvings here are denser, a chaotic tangle of figures, some kneeling, some running, all circling a central spiral. You trace it, and the stone's warm, pulsing faintly, like it's alive. The hum spikes, and you hear it again, that whisper, stay, clearer now, like it's coming from the wall itself. You pull back, heart thudding, and scan the chamber. Nothing, just the idol, the carvings, the crack. Okay, Temple, you're getting pushy, you say, trying to keep your voice light, but your hands are shaking, and the key feels heavier, like it's anchoring you to this moment. You notice a faint outline in the wall, another seam, barely visible, like the one that led to the hidden chamber. Press the key against it, and the stone grinds, a low rumble that makes your stomach lurch. The seam widens, revealing a narrow passage, darker than the last, its air cold and sharp with that burnt herb scent. You hesitate, the key warm in your hand, and mutter, "If this is another creepy basement, I'm charging you rent," but the hum's urging you forward, and the whisper comes again, "Stay," soft but insistent, like a friend who won't take no for an answer. You step through, the passage closing behind you with a soft thud. The darkness is absolute, and you hold the key out, feeling your way along the wall. The stone's slick, almost wet, and the hum's a steady pulse, guiding you deeper. The air grows colder, the sweet bitter scent stronger, and you feel a tug, not physical but deep, like the temple's pulling at your thoughts. You're alone, or so you think, but the whisper's back, and it's not just stay now, it's a name, or a word, too faint to catch. Historians still wonder if the Chola's rituals were meant to honor their gods, or bind something older, something they couldn't control. Some say the idol's tokens were gifts, others think they were chains. You're not sure what you believe, but the key's burning in your hand, and the hum's telling you you're about to find out. The passage's darkness is so thick it feels like you're wading through ink, the bronze key your only tether, warm and pulsing faintly in your hand. The hum is a steady drone, threading through your chest, sensing with your breath like it's trying to become part of you. The air is cold, sharp with that burnt herb bitterness and the cloying sweetness of rotting flowers, now laced with something new, something earthy, like freshly turned soil. Your pockets are heavy with relics, pebble, leaves, cloth, and they tug at you, like the temple staking its claim. You move slowly, one hand on the slick stone wall, and mutter, "If this is a maze, I'm demanding a map and a refund." Silence smirks, as it always does. Your boots echo, a soft scrape against the uneven floor, and the whisper, "Stay," comes again, clearer now, like it's following you. You pause, heart thudding, and strain to hear more, but it's on, leaving only the hum and the faint rustle of your own breathing. The key's warmth is almost burning, and you loosen your grip, half expecting it to glow. It doesn't, but the hum spikes, urging you forward, and you feel a breeze, cold and impossible, brushing your face like a ghostly hand. You laugh, nervous, and say, "Okay, temple, personal space, please." I'm not that kind of traveler, but the breeze persists, guiding you deeper into the passage. The darkness thins, and you see a faint glow ahead, not the greenish shimmer of the last chamber, but something warmer, like firelight. You follow the passage widening, and step into a small, vaulted room, its ceiling carved with spirals that seem to spin in the flickering light. The center is a low stone table, its surface etched with the same spiral pattern, and on it sits a single object, a clay tablet, cracked but intact, its surface covered in symbols you can't read. The hum's louder here, almost a voice, and the key in your hand feels heavier, like it's pulling you toward the tablet. You step closer, the air thick with that earthy scent, and peer at the tablet. The symbols are sharp, deliberate, some resembling the spirals on your cloth, others like jagged lines, or half-formed faces. You reach out, hesitating, then pull back, not touching that. You mutter, remembering the ash and its tingling burn. "I've learned my lesson, thanks," but the hum's insistent, and the tablet seems to glow. Or maybe that's just the firelight playing tricks. You notice a small indentation in the table, shaped like the key, and your heart skips. You hold the key up, comparing it, and feel the hum spike, making your head spin. Okay, I get it, you say. But you're not sure if you're ready for whatever comes next. You sit on the floor, back against the table, and let the room settle around you. The hum's a steady pulse, almost soothing, but it's got an edge, like it's waiting for midnight. The villagers' stories come back, their voices hushed over steaming chai. They say the idol's pact was written, not spoken, etched into tablets hidden in the temple's heart. The Cholas, who built this place, were known for their inscriptions, carving their laws and vows into stone to outlast empires. That's the historical fact. Chola temples were libraries of stone, preserving rituals and histories for centuries. But there's a quirkier detail, one the old woman at the guest house whispered with a knowing look. They say the tablets were cursed, readable only by those who carried the idol's tokens, and even then, only at midnight. You pull the cloth from your pocket, its golden spirals catching the firelight, and trace them with your finger. They're warm, almost alive, and the hum responds, softening, like it's pleased you're connecting the dots. You glance at the tablet, its symbols seeming to shift, and wonder if it's the pact the villagers meant, or something else, something older. You're not sure you want to read it, but the key's burning in your hand, and the hum's urging you to try. You stand, heart racing, and press the key into the table's indentation. The stone grinds, a low rumble, and the tablet shifts, revealing a hidden compartment beneath. Inside is a small, blackened coin, etched with a spiral and something that looks like an eye. You pick it up, careful not to drop it, and feel the hum spike, sharp and sudden, like a jolt to your spine. The coin's heavy, warmer than the key, and the symbols on the tablet seem clearer now, almost readable, like they're whispering to you. Set the coin down, muttering, okay, no more cursed collectibles. My pockets are full, but the hum's louder, and the room feels smaller, like it's closing in. You glance at the walls, their spirals spinning faster. Or maybe that's just your head, dizzy from the hum and the firelight. A whisper comes again, stay. And it's not just a word now. It's a name, faint but clear, like a call from the dark. You step back, the coin still on the table, and try to steady your breathing. The villagers said the idol's pact demands a witness, someone to read its truth and carry its weight. Historians still wonder if the Chola's tablets were records of worship or warnings of something older, a force they bound to the temple but couldn't control. Some say the tablets were guides for priests. Others think they were traps, meant to bind the reader to the idol's will. I'm not sure what you believe, but the coin's eye seems to watch you, and the hum's a steady drum, counting down to midnight. You tuck the key away, leaving the coin, and head back to the passage, the firelight fading behind you. The temple's not done with you, and you're starting to think you're not done with it either. Passage's darkness swallows you as you step away from the vaulted room, the bronze key still warm in your hand, its spiral etching pressing into your skin like a quiet reminder. The hum is a steady pulse, threading through your chest, sensing, with your heartbeat like it's trying to rewrite your rhythm. The air is heavy, thick with that burnt herb bitterness and the sweet rot of flowers, now laced with a faint, coppery tang, like old coins left in the rain. Your pockets bulging with the pebble, leaves, and spiral-woven cloth feel like they're anchoring you to the temple, each relic a weight you can't shake. You move slowly, one hand on the slick stone wall, and mutter, if I'm collecting haunted souvenirs for a ghost, I deserve a tip. The silence smirks, as it always does. The corridor slopes upward, its walls narrowing until you're almost brushing both sides. The whisper, stay, follows you, softer now, but clearer, like it's coming from the stone itself. You pause, heart thudding, and strain to hear more, but it's gone, leaving only the hum and the faint scuff of your boots, the keys. Warmth is almost too much, and you shift it to your other hand, half expecting it to burn. It doesn't, but the hum spikes, urging you forward, and you feel a breeze again, cold and sharp, like a breath on your neck. You laugh, nervous, and say, okay, temple, boundaries. I'm not signing up for ghost cuddles, but the breeze persists, guiding you back to the main chamber. We emerge into the familiar vastness, the idol waiting. Its black stone gleaming under the moonlight that spills through the ceiling's cracks. Its hollow eyes seem to track you. Or maybe that's just your imagination, stretched thin by the dark. The crack in the floor is wider, snaking further toward the wall, and you swear the idol's head is tilted now, just a fraction, like it's listening. You blink, and it's still, but the hum's louder, a low drone that makes your teeth buzz. You step closer, drawn despite yourself, and notice that shimmer again, a veil of dust or light hovering around the idol's shoulders, flickering like a dying bowl. Show off, you mutter, trying to keep your voice light, but your heart's racing, and midnight feels closer than ever. You sit, cross-legged, a few feet from the idol, the cold stone grounding you. The air's thick with sandalwood, copper, and that bitter herb scent, clinging to your clothes like a memory. You pull the cloth from your pocket, its golden spirals catching the moonlight, and trace them with your finger. They're warm, pulsing faintly, and the hum softens, like it's pleased you're still here. You fold it away, thinking about the clay tablet, its unreadable symbols, and the coin with its eerie eye. The villagers' stories come back, their voices hushed over flickering lamps. They say the idol's pact was sealed with a procession, a ritual where figures moved in the dark, carrying its tokens to honor or bind its power. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their nocturnal rituals, performed under the full moon to align with cosmic cycles. That's the historical fact. Their priests used the night to commune with their gods, believing darkness amplified divine presence. But there's a quirkier detail, one the boy who served your doll whispered with wide eyes. They say the procession wasn't just priests but spirits, reenacting the pact every midnight for those who carried the idol's tokens. Spirits like the shadow you saw, or the whisper that keeps saying stay. Pat your pockets, feeling the weight of the relics, and wonder if you've accidentally joined the guest list for a ghostly parade. You stand, restless, and walk toward the wall where the crack ends. The carvings here are chaotic, a swirl. Figures, some holding staffs, some carrying bowls, all moving toward a central spiral. You trace it, and the stone's warm, almost alive, like it's breathing under your touch. The hum spikes, and you hear it again, that whisper, stay. Now joined by others, a chorus of voices too faint to understand. You pull back, heart pounding, and scan the chamber. Nothing, just the idol, the carvings, the crack. Okay, temple, you're overdoing it, you say, but your voice is shaky, and the key in your hand feels heavier, like it's pulling you towards something. You notice a faint outline in the wall, another seam, barely visible, like the ones that led to the hidden chambers. You press the key against it, and the stone grinds, a low rumble that makes your stomach lurch. The seam widens, revealing a narrow alcove, not a passage. It's air cold and thick with that coppery tang. Inside is a small stone figure, a miniature of the idol, its face clearer than the one in the main chamber, with eyes that seem to glint. Reach for it, then stop, remembering the tingling ash and the burning key. Not falling for that one, you mutter, but the hum's insistent, and the figure's eyes seem to follow you, like they're daring you to look closer. You step back, leaving the figure untouched, and sit near the idol again. The whispers are louder now, a soft murmur like a crowd in the distance, and you're starting to think they're not just in your head. Historians still wonder if the Chola's rituals were purely ceremonial or meant to summon something older, a force tied to the land itself. Some say the processions were symbolic, honoring the gods. Others think they were real, calling spirits to guard or curse the temple. You're not sure what you believe, but the hum's a steady drum, and the is charged, like a storm's about to break. Midnight's almost here, and you're alone with the idol, its tokens, and the chorus of whispers that won't let you go. The idol looms before you, its black stone drinking in the moonlight that slices through the temple's cracked ceiling. The hum is a steady pulse, vibrating in your chest like a second heartbeat, relentless, but oddly soothing, as if the temple's trying to lull you into staying forever. The air is thick with sandalwood, copper, and that bitter herb scent, now edged with a faint, salty tang, like tears or sweat. Your pockets are heavy pebble, leaves, cloth, and the bronze key, each relic a weight tying you to this place. The crack in the floor is wider, a jagged scar stretching toward the wall, and you're certain now it's grown, though your eyes are tired, playing tricks in the dim light. You sit, cross-legged, a few feet from the idol, and mutter, if you're about to pull a midnight stunt, statue, I'm not impressed yet. The silence smirks, as it always does. The whispers are still there, a soft murmur like a distant crowd, weaving through the hum threads in a tapestry. Stay, they say, clearer now, mixed with other words you can't quite catch, names, maybe, or fragments of a chant. You lean forward, elbows on your knees, and stare at the idol. Its hollow eyes haven't moved, but that shimmers back, a veil of dust or light hovering around its shoulders, flickering like a bad connection. You blink, and it's gone, but your heart's racing, and the hum's sharper, like it's counting down to something. You laugh, nervous, and say, okay, if this is your big moment, don't choke. But the temple feels alive, and you're starting to think midnight's not just a time, it's a promise. You stand, restless, and pace a slow circle around the idol. Carvings on the walls seem to shift, their figures, staffs, bowls, spirals moving in the flickering lamplight. You pause at one, a scene of a procession, figures cloaked and silent, circling a central figure that looks like the idol. Their hands are raised, holding objects you can't make out, and their faces are blank, like they've forgotten who they were. Trace the carving, and the stone's warm, pulsing faintly, like it's breathing. The hum spikes, and the whispers grow louder, a chorus now, chanting something rhythmic, almost familiar. You pull back, heart thudding, and mutter, okay, temple, tone it down. I'm not ready for a ghost choir. You glance at the idol, and it's still, but you swear its arm is tilted differently, just a fraction, like it's reaching for the wall where the procession's carved. You blink, and it's unchanged, but the crack in the floor seems to pulse, like it's alive too. You kneel, tracing it with your finger, and feel that warmth again, faint but real, like the stone's got a fever. The villagers' stories flood back, their voices hushed over flickering lamps. They say the idol's pact was sealed with a procession, a ritual that bound the temple to something older, something that moves in the dark. The Cholas, who built this place, were known for their ceremonial processions, parading through temples, to honor their gods with music and offerings. That's the historical fact. Those rituals were grand, public displays of devotion, often lasting hours under the moon. But there's a quirkier detail, one the old man at the guest house whispered, with a sly grin. They say the procession never stopped. Not really. Spirits of those priests, or something older, still walk the temple at midnight, carrying the idol's tokens for those who dare to join them. You pat your pockets, feeling the pebble, leaves, and cloth, and wonder if you've been drafted into their ghostly parade. The key's still in your hand, warm and heavy, and you're starting to think it's more than a key, it's a ticket, or maybe a chain. You glance at the seam in the wall, the one that led to the alcove, and notice it's wider now, like the temple's opening up for you. You step toward it, the key burning in your hand, and press it against the seam. The stone grinds, a low rumble. It makes your stomach lurch, and the seam widens into a narrow doorway, revealing a chamber you haven't seen before. The air inside is cold, sharp with that salty tang, and the hum's louder, almost a song now, weaving through the whispers. You step through, the doorway closing behind you with a soft thud, and find yourself in a small, circular room, its walls carved with figures in mid-step, as if frozen in a dance. At the center is a low pedestal, empty except for a single, polished stone, etched with a spiral and an eye, like the coin you left behind. You reach for it, then stop, remembering the tingling ash and the burning key. Not today, you mutter, but the hum's insistent, and the stone seems to glow. Or maybe that's just the moonlight. You sit back against the pedestal and let the room settle around you. The whispers are clearer now, chanting a rhythm that feels ancient, like a lullaby from a time before words. Pull the cloth from your pocket, its golden spirals catching the faint light, and trace them with your finger. They're warm, almost alive, and the hum responds, softening, like it's pleased you're still here. Historians still wonder if the Chola's processions were purely ceremonial or something more, a ritual to summon or bind a force they barely understood. Some say the spirits were symbolic, part of the ritual's theater. Others think they were real, guardians or prisoners of the idol's will. You're not sure what you believe, but the whispers are real, and so is the hum, pulsing like a drum roll for midnight. Temple's awake, and you're in the middle of its story, whether you like it or not. The circular chamber feels like it's breathing, its carved figures frozen mid-step, their blank faces watching you from the walls. The hum is a steady pulse, weaving through your chest, sensing with your heartbeat like it's trying to rewrite your rhythm. The air is thick with that salty tang, mixed with sandalwood and the faint, bitter herb scent that clings to your clothes. Your pockets stuffed with the pebble, leaves, cloth, and bronze key are heavy, like they're pulling you deeper into the temple's story. The polished stone on the pedestal glints in the moonlight, its spiral and eyes seeming to stare back, daring you to touch it. You sit back against the pedestal and mutter, if this is your grand finale, Temple, I'm expecting fireworks. The silence smirks, as it always does. The whispers are louder now, a rhythmic chant that fills the chamber. No longer just stay, but a string of words you can't quite grasp, names, prayers, or something older. They weave through the hum, like a chorus warming up for midnight. You glance at the pedestal stone, its eye glinting, and feel a tug, not physical but deep, like the temple's pulling at your thoughts. You stand, restless, and pace the small room, your boots echoing against the stone floor. The carvings seem to move, their figures shifting in the flickering moonlight, as if they're stepping out of the walls. You blink, and they're still, but your heart's racing, and you're starting to think the temple's playing for keeps. You pull the cloth from your pocket, its golden spirals catching the light, and trace them with your finger. They're warm, almost pulsing, and the hum softens, like it's pleased you're still here. You fold it away, thinking about the procession the villagers described, their voices hushed over flickering lamps. They say the spirits walk at midnight, carrying the idol's tokens in a ritual that never ends. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their dawn ceremonies, welcoming the sun to renew their vows with the divine. That's the historical fact. Their rituals often began first light, aligning with the solar cycle to honor their gods. But there's a quirkier detail, one the old woman at the guest house whispered with a sly smile. They say the midnight procession was for something else, a shadow ritual to appease or bind a force that preferred the dark. You glance at the pedestal. Again, the stone's eyes still watching. You're tempted to pick it up, but the memory of the tingling ash and burning key stops you. Not falling for that one, you mutter, but the hum's insistent, and the whispers are louder, chanting a rhythm that feels like it's pulling you in. You step back, scanning the walls, and notice a faint seam, like the ones that led to other chambers. You press the key against it, and the stone grinds, a low rumble that makes your stomach lurch. The seam widens, revealing a narrow passage, its air cold and sharp with that coppery tang. You hesitate, the key warm in your hand, and say, if this is another creepy basement, I'm charging you for therapy. But the hum's urging you forward, and the whispers are a chorus now. Guiding you deeper, you step through, the passage closing behind you with a soft thud. Darkness is heavy, but a faint glow ahead, moonlight, maybe lights your way. The walls are smooth, almost polished, and you trail your hand along them, feeling a faint pulse, like the stone's alive. The hum's louder, sensing with the whispers, and you hear that word again, stay, mixed with others, a name or a phrase you can't quite catch. The passage opens into a larger chamber, its ceiling high and cracked, letting in slivers of moonlight. At its center is a low altar, carved with spirals and eyes, and on it sits a single object, a small, blackened lamp. Its wick lit but glistening, like it's waiting for a flame. You step closer, the hum spiking, and peer at the lamp. It's old, older than the temple itself, its surface etched with symbols that match the clay tablets. You reach for it, then stop, remembering the relics in your pockets. Not adding you to the collection, you say, but the hum's insistent, and the whispers are louder, chanting a rhythm that feels like a heartbeat. You pull the leaves from your pocket, their bitter scent filling the air, and wonder if they're meant for the lamp, a fuel for whatever ritual's coming. You set them down, careful not to crush them, and feel the hum soften, like the temple's pleased with your caution. The villagers said the procession was a test, a ritual for those who carried the idol's tokens. Historians still wonder if Chola's midnight rituals were symbolic, honoring their gods, or something more, a way to confront or contain a force they feared. Some say the lamps were lit to guide the spirits. Others think they were traps, meant to bind the unwary. We're not sure what you believe, but the lamp's wick seems to glow. Or maybe that's just the moonlight, and the whispers are a chorus now, pulling you toward the altar. You glance at the key in your hand, its spiral warm and heavy, and feel the temple's pulse, counting down to midnight. Dawn's coming, but not yet, and you're alone with the idol's secrets, waiting for the light to break. The blackened lamp sits on the altar, its unlit wick glistening in the moonlight that spills through the chamber's cracked ceiling. The hum is a steady pulse, weaving through your chest, sensing with your breath like it's trying to claim you. The air is thick with that coppery tang, now mixed with the bitter herb scent from the leaves in your pocket and the faint, sweet rot that lingers like a memory. Your pockets are heavy pebble, cloth, bronze key, and those dried leaves, and they feel like they're anchoring you to the temple, each relic a thread in its story. You stand a few feet from the altar. The whispers a soft chorus now, chanting, stay, and other words you can't quite catch, like a song half remembered. You mutter, if you're planning a ghost party, temple, I didn't RSVP. The silence smirks, as it always does. You step closer to the lamp, its surface etched with spirals and eyes that seem to watch you. The hum spikes, sharp and sudden, and you feel a tug, like the altar's pulling you in. You hesitate, remembering the tingling ash and the burning key, and say, not touching you, creepy lamp, I've learned my lesson. But the whispers are louder, their rhythm almost hypnotic, and the lamp's wick glimmers, like it's begging for a flame. You pull the leaves from your pocket, their bitter scent filling the air, and wonder if they're meant to be burned, a final offering to seal whatever pact the idol demands. You set them down beside the lamp, careful not to crush them, and the hum softens, like the temple's nodding in approval. The chamber's walls are carved with figures, their forms clearer now, cloaked shapes carrying lamps, circling a central spiral that mirrors the one on your cloth. You trace it with your finger, and the stone's warm, almost alive, pulsing faintly under your touch. The whispers shift, their chant growing urgent, and you swear you see the carvings move, their figures stepping forward, then freezing when you blink. Your heart's racing, and you laugh, nervous, muttering, okay, temple, you're pulling out all the stops, chill. But the air's charged, like a storm's brewing, and you know midnight's past dawn's close, and the temple's waiting for you to make a move. You sit, cross-legged, near the altar, the cold stone grounding you. The villagers' stories come back, their voices hushed over flickering lamps. They say the idol's pact requires an offering, something given freely to appease or break its hold. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their votive offerings, leaving gifts of gold, herbs, or ash to honor their gods. That's the historical fact. Their temples were filled with altars like this one, where priests made offerings to renew sacred bonds. But there's a quirkier detail. One the boy who served your doll whispered with wide eyes. They say the offering wasn't always material, sometimes it was a promise, a vow to carry the idol's truth or bear its curse. You glance at the lamp, its wick still unlit, and wonder if you're meant to light it, or if that's the trap. You pull the cloth from your pocket, its golden spirals catching the moonlight, and trace them with your finger. They're warm, pulsing faintly, and the hum responds, softening, like it's pleased you're still here. You fold it away, thinking about the procession, the spirits that walk at midnight. The whispers are louder now, chanting a name not yours, but something ancient, like a word carved in stone. You glance at the lamp, its wick glinting, and feel a tug, like the temple's daring you to act. Pull the leaves closer, their scent sharp and bitter, and hesitate. If I light you, am I cursed or free? You mutter, half joking, but the hum's insistent, and the whispers are a chorus, urging you forward. You notice a faint seam, the altar, barely visible, like the ones that led to other chambers. You press the key against it, and the stone grinds, a low rumble that makes your stomach lurch. The seam widens, revealing a small hollow, empty except for a single, smooth, stone, etched with a spiral and an eye, like the one on the pedestal. You reach for it, then stop, remembering the burning key and the tingling ash. Not falling for that one, you say, but the hum's louder, and the whispers are chanting faster, like they're counting down. You glance at the ceiling, the moonlight fading as dawn's light creeps in, soft and pale, like a promise of relief. You stand, the key warm in your hand, and step back from the altar. The whispers are a chorus now, their chant filling the chamber, and you feel the temple's pulse, alive and urgent. Historians still wonder if the Chola's offerings were meant to honor their gods or appease something older, a force they couldn't control. Some say the lamps were lit to guide the spirits. Others think they were seals, binding the idol's power to the temple. You're not sure what you believe, but the lamp's wick is waiting, and the leaves are in your hand, their scent, sharp and ready. Dawn's breaking, and you're alone with the idol's secrets, caught between lighting the lamp or walking away. The dawn's light creeps through the chamber's cracked ceiling, soft and pale, casting long shadows that stretch across the carved figures on the walls. The hum is a steady pulse, woven into your heartbeat, a quiet insistence that feels like the temple's final plea. The air is heavy with sandalwood, copper, and that bitter herb scent, now softened by the fresh, clean edge of morning. Your pockets are weighed down pebble, cloth, bronze key, and the dried leaves you almost burned, and they feel like relics of a story you're not sure you've finished. The blackened lamp on the altar sits unlit, its wick glistening, waiting, while the smooth stone with its spiral and eye glints beside it. You stand a few feet away, the whispers fading to a soft murmur, their chant of stay now a sigh, like the temple's letting go. You mutter, if this is your big exit, temple, I'm expecting a curtain call. The silence, for once, feels gentle. You step closer to the altar, the dawn's light painting the lamp in gold. The hum softens, almost soothing, and you feel a tug, not urgent but calm, like the temple's asking you to decide. You pull the leaves from your pocket, their bitter scent sharp in the morning air, and hold them over the lamp. Wick seems to shimmer, as if anticipating a flame, but you hesitate, remembering the villagers' warnings about offerings and pacts. You set the leaves down, untouched, and say, not today, creepy lamp. I'm not signing any ghost contracts. A hum doesn't spike, doesn't protest, it just hums, like it's okay with you. Stepping back, you glance at the walls, their carved figures still now, no longer shifting in the light. Procession cloaked shapes with lamps and staffs seems frozen, their blank faces turned toward the altar, like they're waiting for you to finish what you started. You trace the spiral on the cloth in your pocket, its golden threads warm under your fingers, and think about the villagers' stories, their voices hushed over flickering lamps. They said the idol's pact could be broken, not with fire or blood, but with a choice to carry its truth or leave it behind. The Cholas, who built this temple, were known for their rituals of release, ceremonies to free their communities from divine burdens. That's the historical fact. Priests often perform dawn rites to end cycles of worship, letting old vows dissolve in the light. But there's a quirkier detail, one the old man at the guest house shared with a sly grin. They say the idol's power fades at dawn, if you walk away without giving in. No offering, no vow, just you, leaving with your tokens and your questions. You pat your pockets, feeling the pebble, cloth, and key, and wonder if that's the trick to carry the temple's secrets without letting them own you. A hum softer now, almost a lullaby, and the whispers are gone, replaced by the faint chirp of birds outside, a sign that Kalappa's waking up. You step back from the altar, the lamp still unlit, and feel the dawn's light warm your face. Chamber feels lighter, like the temple's loosening its grip. You glance at the stone on the altar, its eye glinting, and decide to leave it there. You stay, you say, half smiling, "I've got enough souvenirs." The hum doesn't protest, and the air feels cleaner, like the temple's exhaling one last time. You turn toward the passage, the bronze key warm in your hand, and find the seam in the wall still open, its darkness less heavy now, lit by the soft glow of morning. You step through, the passage wider than you remember, and emerge into the main chamber. The idol stands silent, its black stone catching the dawn's light, its hollow eyes no longer watching. The crack in the floor is still there, but it seems smaller, like the temple settling back into itself. You pause, looking at the idol one last time, and feel the hum fade, a soft goodbye. Historians still wonder if the Cholas' rituals were meant to bind their gods or free their people, a cycle of offerings and releases that kept the balance. Some say the idol's power was a myth, a story to draw pilgrims. Others think it was real, tied to the land's ancient pulse. I'm not sure what you believe, but you've seen enough to know Kalappa's more than a dot on a map. You walk toward the temple's entrance, the dawn's light spilling through the stone archway. The village is stirring outside, the faint clatter of carts and the low bleat of goats mixing with the morning breeze. You step into the open, the banyan tree's roots sprawling like an old friend waving you off. The hum's gone now, replaced by the soft rustle of leaves and the warmth of the rising sun. You pat your pockets, the relics still there, and smile. "Guess I'm keeping these," you say, not sure if you're talking to the temple or yourself. You start down the path, the village waking around you, its secrets safe for now. The dawn's light softens, wrapping you in a gentle glow as you walk away from the temple. Your breath slows, matching the rhythm of the morning breeze, each inhale deep and calm, each exhale carrying away the weight of the night. The village hums softly, carts creaking, voices murmuring, birds singing in the banyan's branches. You feel the relics in your pockets, their edges smoothed by your touch, and they're lighter now, like old friends rather than burdens. The path stretches ahead, dusted with golden light, and you imagine a quiet stream nearby, its water rippling over smooth stones, reflecting the sky's soft pinks and blues. You're safe, you're whole, and the world is waking gently around you. Let your eyes drift closed, let the warmth of the sun cradle you, and drift into a soft, dreamless sleep, carried by the village's lullaby,